I've been kind of resisting to not talk about this for quite a while now, but I think very recently it's now something that I want to talk about because I kind of need to say something how it is and just get it off my chest right now. So here it is. I am bored of streaming content, just TV shows or new shows or products that come out on streaming platform. I am so bored of it. Now, I'm not going to say that everything that comes from streaming platforms is boring, bad, or terrible. There are rare occasions that there are good shows and good products, and maybe there are people that might have different opinions on how they view certain content that comes from streaming platforms. But very recently, I've been getting really, really tired of streaming content. Every single time I've been watching new TV shows, especially, I've just been so tired. I've been drained. I feel like every single episode I watch has become nothing more than just a chore. I'd rather do, basic minimal jobs at this point now, watching shows that are coming out on streaming platform. And what made me talk about this topic right now? Well, it's because I watched two shows on streaming platforms and they were nothing more than just boring and actually pretty bad. And those two shows are Secret Invasion and The Witcher Season 3. And the best way I could really describe these two products is they are nothing more than just boring, meaningless, and just uninspiring to watch. You don't really feel like you're getting anything new in value to when you're watching these shows, and you're just left with just a fickle story that really has no overall impact to whether it's the source material or the universe franchise. Like I don't even know, but anything that they try and deliver from this TV show, from what I've seen from these two products, nothing is delivered. And I was gonna kind of look at doing a review to talk about it, but I was just so bored and just so tired of seeing it. It was just gonna be completely wasting my time just to even talk about these shows because there was nothing really I would have gotten back from watching these two shows. But I think the main problem with both of these shows is just how boring they are. Like even from a story perspective, there really is nothing that can really be portrayed to really sort of garner the audience's experience in any sort of sense. So, in case like for Secret Invasion, like every other Marvel TV show, is generic, right? And but it's not even generic like it's consistent to the other shows. It's just probably amps it up even worse. So with Secret Invasion now you have Nick Fury. He comes down to Earth, living with the Skrulls, because now there's also another evil Skrull that he knew called Gravik, and who wants to basically destroy human civilization. That's really it. And basically now they have a character called Gaia, who's basically the lead of all this. And she pretty much takes over the show from Nick Fury, which is it's like whatever. And it just doesn't really have anything that really has any sort of emotions to it. And the case with The Witcher as well is it kind of has the same problem as well. Like many people would have believed with The Witcher, it was always about, the main focus was really Henry Cavill's performance as Geralt. And I think probably from the first and second season, he was like the driving force of that show. Like, if that series was on life support now, he would be the driving force of it. He's like the focal point of it. His accuracy to actually portray the role as Geralt was superb, and I don't think really anyone would come close to him. And somehow Netflix don't get that, and they just have their own moronic views of how they want to move the series forward. They decided, oh, Henry Cavill's too expensive. We don't really like collaborating with him, and they took him off for the fourth season. He was in the third season, and he pretty much just felt like a side cast because now it's more important to we have to focus more on Ciri and Yennefer's story more. And every single time you watch every episode of that series of The Witcher, everything just feels more convoluted each episode and doesn't really have anything consistent for storytelling. It is so incoherent in how bad the story is. Now, I've been kind of following a lot of people that has been talking a lot about, modern TV shows and movies these days, and I think it kind of does reflect the modern problems that Hollywood has. Hence, the strikes have been happening. Hence, there's lots of people not working now, and just virtually think that Hollywood is literally imploding on its feet. And I think the main issue is this. I don't think there are times where I think many of the writers or the higher ups don't actually care about staying original to the source material or actually focusing on good writing. I think the problem is that I think, especially the example that Secret Invasion and The Witcher has, and also many other projects, I think they focus on political ideologies, diversity, and narratives that really think that they are more important than art and writing. And I think that's the problem. Like, the case for Secret Invasion is what they wanted to tick the box for diversity, and I'm not even joking, is that Nick Fury has a sexual attraction to reptiles. I'm not even joking. They even mention it clearly that his wife is a Skrull and he loves Skrulls. And he basically, there was like a scene where Nick Fury's wife, I forgot her name, very forgettable anyway, but she was saying to Nick Fury, "Oh, would you have still loved me if I didn't turn?" And Nick was like, "Yeah, I would. I wouldn't. I would love you in any form." It's just, it really is just so stupid. And I think for the case for The Witcher, is the tick box of diversity would really come in. Is just they would convolute themselves with so many characters from so many factions that you just very much just get confused who the characters are, what factions they are, what family they are. Like, you don't make sense of really where you're at with the series. It's just so confusing because they push for diversity so much. It doesn't matter what ethnic background, race, gender, like whatever. It didn't matter. But I think this is the problem. Nobody can really make sense for these sort of adjustments that these shows and runners would make to actually sort of get adjusted to it. So I think the audience would feel more confused watching these sort of things, which doesn't blame. I wouldn't blame them for it because certainly for me, I couldn't make sense of it. I mean, mostly The Witcher just had the bad writing in general. You couldn't make sense of the sequences of that show, and I think Secret Invasion's writing was bad for the reasons that they really had nothing left to really adapt from the Marvel universe. It was just they just had a story and they just threw it away. And they just gave like some sort of political nonsense about there's evil Skrulls in Russia. They're terrorizing people. But it really was just a bleak show watching these two. It was just so boring and depressing. I felt honestly just rolling my eyes, shrugging my shoulders. My neck was getting deeper inside my body. It was just a horrible experience. But I think overall, even though like as much as I would say I'm so bored watching streaming content these days, I'm just exhausted. I wouldn't necessarily think that I'm just gonna stop altogether. I would hopefully would suggest that there's better things coming up in the horizon, and there could be some things that can surprise me. One great example of a show that really surprised me and I thought it was amazing was The Last of Us. I thought The Last of Us, it really stuck to the narrative well. I think some people did argue it was different to the games, but I really felt like a lot of the acting and performances was really impressive, and they actually delivered, a simplistic story that can really connect the characters well. So that was an example of a show that can work. But in case of like shows like Secret Invasion and The Witcher, there was really no value in those products at all. It was just uninspiring, underwhelming, lackluster, nothingness. It was just there was literally just nothing out of it. It was just like again, like for every other product you watch, it's just your cake and eat it. Except the fact they really, really have just run out of ideas for anything new to come up with. I hope this maybe is a key reminder that people, the audience, do care about quality. They care about new ideas. They care about good writing, and they care about being as close to the original source material as you can. Nobody cares about adapting the source material to appease certain audiences who want diversity. No one cares about that. So, I mean, if these studios could just focus on that main thing, staying close to the source material, good writing, good acting, I think everyone would be more happy. So, I hope this is like something that Hollywood can really just sort of, put its feet down and actually remember the way things are going now, especially with the strikes happening, is very obviously not working, and certainly people aren't going to waste their time or value their time watching any of your new products if this is the sort of moronic way that things are going to go forward. And yeah, that's about it. See you later.